flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Shotwell, do you have anything for us for academic affairs?
I do not.
Brandon, do you have anything athletic for me? I'm sorry, Kristen?
No.
Budget? Steve, do you have anything?
I do. The Budget Committee met on Wednesday, October 1st. One of the things that we discussed is Pennsylvania right now, currently as of today, is the only state that hasn't passed a budget, but we're in pretty good position to continue our operations for at least the next 3 to 4 months. 2 tax appeals we talked about. A Moxie Freedom tax appeal is going to court in January 2026. The intent is to have the judge make a decision based on the 2 appraisal values. The Berwick Hospital tax appeal is still ongoing in negotiations. Year-to-date expenses for ending September 31st, 2025, we're at 5.88% of expenditures. Last year at this time, we were at 11.93%, so, but it's still early. The cyber charter rates have increased a little bit. The special ed increases have gone from $23,876 to $25,483. And the non-special ed cyber charter rate has gone from $12,051 to $13,648.
Okay, thank you. You got anything for buildings and grounds? Mrs. Post, do you have anything from the CSIU?
Today they had a virtual event and it was about they were taking action on bullying in the classrooms in school. And educators, community teachers, and advocates were all invited, and they gave us different programs to prevent bullying in the schools. And I gotta say, you know, a lot of hearings, we have some hearings, and we really don't see a whole lot of them. So hopefully we don't have it, but we have some, but not a lot.
Okay, thank you. You want to talk about that metal detector policy?
Sure. So there's a metal detector policy on. The district is exploring potential purchase of metal detectors for all 4 of our buildings. When I get quotes for you for that for the open gate metal detectors, I'll bring that back. But if we do move forward, we will need to have a policy that addresses metal detectors. So this is not a first read. This is just bringing it to your attention. And if you review the policy and everything is acceptable, we'll put it on the November board for the first read. Question?
Mr. Hess, Bill Tech.
Yes, there was a work session and JOC meeting since our last meeting. JOC meeting was quite eventful to say the least. We heard a good number of success stories. Heard some things as a board member that's concerning, like people were saying that as long as you were getting jobs, academics don't matter. Me personally, I think that's a minority. And also, as a director here, a lot of people were saying that Tech was their school of last resort because they didn't feel comfortable either here, Bloomsburg, Danville. As we move forward to progress with this study, that's really what things we should look at. I think we all need to look at it here. Why are these kids not comfortable at far away Danville descending districts? Maybe we could kind of, curtail that feeling. I mean, unfortunately, you can't be perfect to everybody, but if there is a bullying that's going on that's not being properly addressed, we need to know about it. We need to address it so those kids feel safe and welcome here. And as for the study right now, we really don't even have a concrete of what we need to look for before the senior year gets bid. Those discussions really have not happened. Will they start happening this month or something? I don't know, I haven't heard anything about it, but that's where we're at right now, and nothing in that regard has taken off the ground. And frankly, as a JC rep here, I'm looking for input from our district of what everyone you would like to see, not see. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, not think anyone here is in a hurry to throw the baby out the bathwater. I'm hearing from everybody, so I'll get more information as more information comes out.
All right, thank you. Brings us to the end of the committee portion of our meeting. We'll move on to approval of board minutes from our September 8th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Presentation of monthly bills for a roll call vote.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any questions on the bills? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hess,
Yes.
Mr. Lanning,
Yes.
Mrs. Curla,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mr. Nestoli,
Yes.
Mrs. Post,
Yes.
and Mr. Young.
Yes. Floor is yours.
So, November's board meeting falls on parent-teacher conferences, just like this month. I didn't create the calendar. When I create a calendar or recommend a calendar, we'll try to make sure that we don't do that in the future. But my question is, do you want to, I know there are members that have children that probably will be attending parent-teacher conferences. Do you want to move the November meeting like we did this
November 3rd.
do, yes, we can do that or the week after.
December meeting's already early.
Sure. So the third will probably make the most sense.
Anybody opposed to moving next month's meeting to November 3rd?
All right.
Question on the board calendar, it has the reorganization for December 1st, but it doesn't have a time. I'm assuming it's 6 o'clock like every other meeting, but I just wanted to make sure so that we can post that. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say we
All right. In front of you, some members asked for data on Fair Week, so I pulled this together for you. What I provided you, first page is student data, so you'll see Fair Week listed by building, and then I just took a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and compared that to other months, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, and you can see how that looks. And then the back page is staff, so, and that's broken up kind of by categories. So you have that data. What I know some people have talked to me on the board about, do we take off the full Fair Week? Do we not take off the full Fair Week? We don't have to have that discussion tonight. What I plan to do is when I put together a calendar, I'll put one together with the week off, one together with how it is currently, and you guys can make a decision at that point. Questions on that?
Thanks for putting this together, because I also what was, like I said, if we're gonna be in school that week, I want them to be meaningful instruction days, and if we have tons of absences, in my opinion, they're not meaningful. This is a good place to get that apart, to start.
Have a couple more. East Berwick, we did the HVAC project. What I just want to bring to your attention is when the project was done, and Brent, correct me if I say anything incorrect, to get the savings that they projected in the, I'll call it study, heat had to be set at 70 and cooling had to be set at 75. 75 seems a little high. We don't set any of our other buildings at 75, but I wanted to at least bring this to your attention, and if that was the intent to set it at 75 for cooling, we could do that. but all our other buildings, I think, are 72.5, 73.
3.573.
So, I mean, I would recommend that we set it at the same that we do all the other buildings, but I just wanted to be upfront and say that would impact the savings that was presented to you back when this was going on. Discussion.
It always seems to be the case with some of these things where, yeah, you're gonna save a ton of money, but in order to do it, this is what you have to do.
It'll save you a lot of money if you turn all the lights off and turn the heat and cooling on.
Kind of the point I'm making. But it's not a realistic number for obvious reasons.
It's a selling point and it works.
73.
Uh,
That would be great.
Yeah. Same as our others.
75 is
Happy with
high.
that?
Yes, yeah, for the most part. I feel it'll probably be insignificant and you might still hit the savings number. I've talked with Jason and we know that the contractor gives themselves a little leeway when they tell you how much their savings is gonna be. So I really think a couple degrees over the amount of time is, but McClure will come back next year, they'll give you their findings. You might be a little off if they told you I can't remember the number, 360,000 or something, they were gonna save you, could it be 340 instead of that, or 350? I think it could be, but I don't think it's gonna be that egregious. But it's up to you. It's up to you guys.
Is everybody comfortable with the same as what we said the other buildings? Unless anybody is terribly opposed, PTO at East has asked, they did a coffee truck, and they did it down the street. I walked the property with them, and they wanted to get it closer to the building, but we also understand we can't have this impact traffic and arrival in the morning. They only do it once a month. They wanted to put it over by the band field, but I don't think that's a proper place because there's really nowhere to go. Right here in the corner of, I'll call it the admin lot, there's a grassy area. Sometimes you'll see a cop parked there. We'd like to try it there next month and let them have an opportunity to do it. If it creates chaos and with parking and things, we'll only do it once. But we'd like to give them an opportunity. I think they make $1 for PTO off every sale. So audience members, buy coffee when you see it out there. Anybody opposed to us trying that?
All right, if it works.
I provided you both a social media report and also a superintendent communication and engagement plans. I just emailed them out to you as well. These certainly don't have to be final documents, and we can tweak these as we see fit. But based on my contract, I need to provide these to you, so I'm doing that. And I'm happy to discuss them in detail if you want, but they're there for you to read, and I don't want to have to read it directly to you. Also in front of you is a draft of committee meetings. It only goes to December, but we put on there what we thought was necessary. Certainly, these are just draft dates, and you guys can tell us these work or don't work, but I kind of like to be scheduled, so I tried to put something together from now until reorg as far as committee meetings. Certainly, we could have another one if an issue arises that we need one, but they're there for your review. If any dates don't work for any committee members, just please let me know and we can work through around your schedule. The last two topics are bigger topics. The first one, our cafeteria has been running in the black for multiple years since we went with Nutrition Inc. They've done a great job managing and producing a profit each year. How that works in school districts is that money cannot be spent on anything other than cafeteria. The district has built up a fund balance in that area of $2.1 million. Based on the audit this past time, they've said that you have to come up with a spend down plan for that. That money cannot go, you can't build tennis courts with it, or you can't replace a track or things like that. But what I plan to do is, I've been working with Nutrition Inc. to make sure that they have all the necessary equipment they need. what's allowable by law. One of the allowable expenses are cafeteria tables and things like that. Had somebody come in, measure out the high school caf, and take a look at this area over here in East. We can replace cafeteria tables and look to make the high school more of a dining experience, meaning more secluded type settings, booths, things like that. Certainly I will bring all that to you and have like floor plans of what that would look like, but that's an allowable expense. But I'll develop a spend down plan for you. Not that we have to spend it all, but at some point if you don't spend it, the state will say, well, you don't need that. So you have to make sure you put it back into the cafeteria. Questions on that, and again, I'll bring more of that to you as I go. I won't be developing it myself. I'll be working with various stakeholders to do that. Questions? And then the last topic, I know that
The cafeteria, there's a track in
yeah,
there.
we just put the cafeteria there, we got the tennis courts, yeah. You're the lawyer, you tell me we can do that, that's fine.
It's your job.
So the last topic is tennis courts and the track out here. I know that you, the district had gotten quotes last year on this topic. I think the tennis courts were 275 to 500, appropriate range.
275 to 350.
350, and then the track was 500. That was the quotes that we got. What I would like to do is apply for a USTA grant for the tennis courts. If you're awarded that, you can get up to $200,000, but you cannot apply for the grant. We've done everything we can to get ready for that, but you need plans. So you need to hire an architect for stamp drawings, things like that, for us to move forward with trying to apply for a grant. So what I guess asking is the board ready to start looking? I think these are kind of specialty items. There's various architects out there that do things like this, but would the board be open to starting to have some conversation about architects for these projects?
Yes.
Okay. And since I'm new here, how do you go about selecting an architect for here? Now, these are specialties, I would say. Not every architect's going to design tennis courts for the track, but how do you want me to go about that? Do you want me to bring firms in front of you to pick from? Do you have somebody that you use? Do you go out for RFP?
Have you used somebody before?
So I've used ELA Sports at previous districts for projects such as these. Certainly they would be someone that this is in their wheelhouse, but there are others.
Yeah.
If there's somebody that's reputable that you know of, I think we want a quote from them, and we should have a separate independent quote, just keep them honest. If
And
they
get a quote or two and bring it back to buildings and grounds and go
Yeah, you
from
want
there.
to hook up by a
So you
professional.
want to see quotes, not so much presentations from an architect.
Well, we need to make sure we're comparing apples to apples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be laid out.
All right. All right, so I'll work on that for those two topics.
So we get professional look at that, because Bob could probably attest to this, because you have quite an extensive history in the tennis program. That location might not 100% be the best with the ground underneath it.
But I think they really should do some sort of a testing to make sure that there isn't, I know years ago, and I don't know how far back, but John Bauer did a testing of it. My recollection is that there was no problem, but there's a problem why those courts don't hold up.
No, they
don't
put
know
money in
what it
that
is.
back since I've been on the board, so it's, whatever we need to do, we need to do it right.
Assuming that could be one of our stipulations for
Yeah.
someone to look into that.
Yeah, make sure that that's a solid base, so we don't spend all this money, then 10 years later, you're in the same boat again.
All right, so I'll, just to make sure I understand, I'll reach out to a couple different firms that this is in their wheelhouse and bring those kind of quotes back to you.
Sounds good.
Are we bound to the tennis courts have to be where they are right now?
Not bound to anything.
We're gonna spend $200,000 to base them, it might be better than moving to some other piece of property.
You have the lights though, that's gonna be.
Lights.
Yeah, that'll cost you quite a bit to move it. But if it's gonna cost you time to rebuild the base too, maybe it might be worth it.
I mean, certainly if
I
the
know,
location,
I have no idea what's underneath that ground.
certainly if the location is not optimal for them, I think we need to have that discussion, but they are ideal for the district to have them there for practices and then also for our high school to use them for gym class and, I know we have, adapted PE out there as well, so, all things we can look at, through the process.
Yeah. Not moving them is ideal, but yeah, so we have to make sure it's solid enough base and all.
Agreed. Agreed. And the last thing I have is, I'm happy to report, that on Friday, I got notice that we received a grant from the Dagenstein. It will be on next month's agenda for acceptance for resuscitation Annies. Now, for the public, resuscitation Annies, when we were kids, you think of the things that you used to blow in the mouths of to resuscitate or learn how to do that. These are a lot more advanced. They're about $45,000 or $40,000 a piece. They emulate things like failed liver, collapsed lung, all kind of medical things that we're going to institute with our, we call it currently our sports medicine program. I'd like to move the name of that to medical science for reasons I could discuss. But kids will be able to do injections, learn all kinds of things through this. So we're pleased that Dagenstein approved our grant in excess of $85,000 for 2 of them.
That's great. Nice.
That's all I have. Sorry it's so long.
High school reports were attached. Anybody, actually all the building reports were attached. Anybody have any questions or comments? That brings us to our first round of public comment. Agenda items only. Please state your name and township or borough.
Hi, Christina Culver, Salem Township. Dr. Bendel, first, we're excited about Resuscitation Annie. That sounds amazing. As someone who works in healthcare, love it. And also thank you for the scheduling of the committee meetings. I know a lot of us would like to attend, but it's hard when it's always kind of at the last minute. And also thank you to Mr. Hess for the comments about VOTEC. I know a lot of people in this room are concerned about VOTEC. It was refreshing to hear you say, let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. But also, I think the one point, I have talked to parents. Kids have left our school. We also talked about the rates of our cyber going up. And that is, there are families that will tell you that is directly associated with bullying in our school. Not that I want VOTEC to be the disparage them about being the place of last resort, but we definitely need to look into this because we are losing kids because of bullying in our schools. They will tell you, we can get parents in to give you that information. So, but thank you, Mr. Hess. I think that we're relieved to hear that you're putting a lot of good thought into VOTEC. Thank you.
I'd be happy to talk to any parent or any child that wants to talk.
Anyone else? If not, we'll move on to general items. We have 8 general items tonight. Proceed with one motion and a vote.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on any of these?
The empowerment school. I don't know if that's Wendell or.
Yeah, sure, I can.
Liz, you can fill us in on that.
So what this is an MOU. We were selected. There was in the article that Press Enterprise talked about. Was in the paper on Sunday. Our middle school is doing the empowerment initiative. More or less, it's project or problem-based learning. And what this MOU now does is allows us to start using the grant funds that have been awarded to us, but we cannot do it without the MOU.
Is this the one where we're only 1 or 4 schools in the state?
Yes.
That'll work in Virginia, right?
West Virginia was a school that has done it pretty successfully the last 4 years. They came in and trained our teachers beginning of the school year.
Any other questions on any of these? All in favor? Opposed? Budget and Finance. One motion, one vote.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody any questions?
The nightlife project, I don't disagree with it, but did you get multiple votes and stuff
So
on
it's
that?
a sole source.
It's a sole source. Okay.
Not that there's not other products out there, but this is the product that we thought was the safest. I know that
This would
other
work the best.
local school districts have used it. Some of them have things that are, I won't go into too much. I think it's more of an exec conversation about
Yeah.
safety that I could have, but this is what our recommendation is.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. One item for academic affairs, acknowledging tenure. Motion to acknowledge. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just very quickly on that, I'm gonna work with the district to get a process in place that tenure is vetted out each year. Not that it was ever incorrect here, but I just think the process needs to be revamped, so that will take place from now till next year.
Two items for transportation with one motion, one vote.
So moved.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. There's 16 personnel items, 14 of them will do with one motion, and then two roll call, please. Motion to approve personnel items 1 through 14. Anybody have any questions on any of these?
If you want to just draw your attention to the receptionist, the teacher, and the police officer, typically what I always try to do is make sure that all their paperwork is in hand before I put them on an agenda. But we also are in a day and age where you want to lock up the people that you find that you want to hire. So the language says pending the receipt of appropriate paperwork, but I added the language with superintendent approval. I know there was a situation here where something came up on a clearance and they had already approved it, so I think this gives, trusting me with, make sure I review them, and if there's an issue, we would not move forward with the hire. I don't anticipate that with any of those, I just want to make sure everybody's fair.
All in favor of personnel items 1 through 14?
Aye, except I'm abstaining from P9 for East Berwick.
I'm abstaining from P9, East Berwick, and P12.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Personnel item 15, approval of Laura Hummel for elementary teacher, starting at master's plus 15, step 8 at $58,037. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Post,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Capurlo,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
Yes.
Mr. Lanning,
Yes.
Mr. Nespoli,
Yes.
and Mr. Yost.
Yes. Personnel item 16, approve Karen Lidecker as elementary interventionist, starting at bachelor step 1, $52,637. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Nespoli,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Post,
Yes.
Mrs. Capurlo,
Yes.
Mr. Lanning,
Yes.
Mr. Hess,
Yes.
and Mr. Yost.
Yes. Anyone have any old business? What was the follow-up with the Suffolk for our?
So I followed up again with them. This follow-up was he had to talk to his superiors. Followed up with them this week. I have not heard back.
Anyone have any new business?
This Wednesday's Monday.
brings us to our last round of public comment. Please state your name and township or borough.
Christina Culver, Salem Township. After last month's board meeting, I saw a Facebook post by a board member that lamented about the controversy and political theater in these meetings, that we should be focusing on academics and positive things built for our students, and I could not agree more. I would love to be able to do that every month, but here's the thing. I didn't bring the political theater, no one on this side did. This was forced upon us by members of the board. It is really hard to worry about math and English when my child's basic human rights are under attack. Not a single person in this district was coming to board meetings that I was attending and asking for any of these policies, nobody. It was members of this board who brought policy after policy, after policy, after policy, after policy, after policy, after policy, designed not to fix any real problems that anyone was bringing up, but to instead further your political agendas, which just so happen to harm our most vulnerable children. Bullying is absolutely a problem in this district. It was in my day, and it still is. Ask parents, ask students, and don't wait for them to come to you. Seek them out to understand what's happening in this district. My friend Draven couldn't be here tonight. He is one of the bravest teenagers I know. And he did just that. He asked, and he got story after story of students, especially LGBTQ kids, being harassed, called slurs, threatened, assaulted. And what are we doing? We're passing policies that will make it worse. We are passing policy that tells the other kids in our school that our LGBTQ kids are okay to target because heck, even the school board is. So listen, I would love nothing more than to focus on academics and good things happening. Nothing would make me happier than coming to board meetings and using my 3 minutes for that. But I have no choice to stand up and defend the basic human rights of my children and all the other LGBTQ kids in this district, because I cannot sit by quietly knowing the impact that these policies have on the mental health of our kids. And like I said last month, it is really hard to teach a depressed child, but it is impossible to teach a dead one. And to my fellow Christians, yes, fellow Christians in the room, I beg of you, please do not stand up and throw more stones in the name of God to further harm our LGBTQ students who could hear or see this later. Remember, this is a public school, not Sunday school. And I also want, and if that isn't enough, remember, judge not, yet lest ye be judged. And also, he will reply, truly I say to you, whatever you did for the least of these, you did for me. So yes, let's stop the political theater. But to this board, I would say, you first.
My name is Patricia Laurie, and I'm a resident of Berwick Borough. I'm speaking about policy 709.1 on the use of metal detectors in our schools. I'm glad that this board is raising this important issue. As a concern for the safety of our schools and our students, it's extremely important. I hope to hear a thorough discussion of this policy and its merits, and I hope to hear our school directors weigh in with their opinions on the security of all our school facilities. I would also like to raise a question regarding the process that got this policy onto the board's agenda for this evening. I did not see a public meeting of the policy committee advertised anywhere. How was it determined that this policy would be taken up by the school board? Who is actually serving on the policy committee? Is it a single member committee? And our students and faculty deserve a robust discussion on all of the policies up for a vote by this board, whether they are regarding security, such as the use of metal detectors, or student records, or facilities, or anything else that will impact all of our students. These policies deserve more sunshine in public meetings. Finally, on that note, I will also ask that the board be more mindful of accessibility for attendees of this meeting who are hearing impaired. This has been raised by many residents of the district at recent meetings, and yet board members are still not situated in a way that makes it easier for attendees to hear, nor are they using the microphones that are in the room. Please consider the needs of all of your constituents and implement processes that allow everyone to hear what's going on. Thank you.
So I'll just make sure that this is just for people's information, and maybe I didn't make it understandable when I spoke on it. There was an executive session where safety is a topic that is allowed for executive topics for obvious reasons. Metal detectors were part of that discussion. To move forward with metal detectors, you have to have policy governing what you do. Therefore, that's why it's on the agenda tonight to bring to the board's attention. There wasn't a vote on it. It was just an item of importance and potentially would be on the November agenda.
Thank you.
Anyone else? So for executive summary, we had one executive meeting since our last board meeting, and that was for security discussion. Before this meeting tonight, we had an executive session for one security item, 2 contract items, and 1 grievance. Our next meeting will be Monday, November 3rd in this room at 6 p.m. Motion to adjourn. All in favor?